Welcome to Grayface Gaming. Today I got something special for you. We are going to talk about these top 16 lists from the last 3 months for 50 plus player events. I'm really excited to talk about it. We got a bunch of them. We got a couple spicy decks. I briefly looked at a couple. I didn't look at all the decks. I didn't do a bunch of comparing. I'm gonna kind of see those as we go. So I'm excited to get started. So let's do that. But before I do,
I want to show you guys this cool playmat from Tame Dog. Super sick. There's some other ones also super sick. If you need good sleeves for a good price, check the link in the description and you won't be disappointed.
first up, so I'm gonna kind of do these somewhat in order, but I'm not because there's one deck in particular I want to start with. I would like to start with this deck, this for Jesse Krrik deck. This is, I mean, it's sad, right? It looks like their friend must have passed away that was a Krrik player. This person, in their honor, basically picked the deck up. Looks like finished it, and they have been kicking people's asses with it. So I love that. I love that story. I'm sorry to hear about the friend. Uh, you know, like stories don't, you know, being able to top on a deck that your friend built is like, I don't know. I don't want to cry on the feed, so I'll just keep it moving. But congratulations. Um, I'm sure your friend would be super proud of you. So, as we always do, let's just jump right into the Unified Primer and compare what cards they're. Oh, they're not on Necro. It's very, very interesting choice. Other than that, somewhat decently standard-ish list. I love sudden death. To me, this is one of the coolest removal spells. Split second, -4/-4. Really cool spell. I don't know what this is. When Muck Drub comes into play, change the target of target spell that targets only a single creature to Muck Drub. Interesting. Kinda cool. Very interesting. And then other than that, we're on the 4 mana tutors. Songs of the Damned. I've been looking at this card for a while. Seems pretty good. Tezzeret, Cruel Captain. They're on Sidisi. They're on Bazaar. Interesting not to see Necropotence. But congratulations on your top 16 finish for your friend. I had to start with this one because, like, yeah, I love your story, bro. So congratulations. We're all rooting for you in your future endeavors as well. Next up, we have David Warsnop. Got 12th place. This one won't let me look it up on Moxfield, so I'm not gonna go through the comparison on this one. But right off the top, we see they got an Oppo agent. That's pretty interesting. Kind of some standard stuff in there. Goryo's Vengeance. What are they trying to reanimate with that? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they specifically are going for on that one. Generic, generic good stuff. Soulstone's kind of cool. You don't see that too often. 27 lands, lots of swamps. It looks like they got all the basic lands that you would want. Braids is kind of spicy as well. Um, Congratulations, David, on your 12th place finish. Now we are on to Absolute. He's a member of the Discord. He also plays in the Crit League. What place were you? I believe that's you. Let me double check. Yes, okay. Marquis Station. Um, Finished 13th with 2-3-1 record. Let's jump right into the Unified Primer. See what spicy stuff you got in here. We are off Imperial Seal. Interesting. Dance of the Dead, you can take it or leave it. Peer into the Abyss, probably a good card not to be playing. I see Pontiff of Blight. I love that. We got a bunch of creature combo-y stuff. The Master of Lake Town. I don't believe Master of Lake Town was out for this tournament. Um, where am I? Okay, so I don't believe Master of Lake Town would have been there. I see some fetches. Interesting. I see Persist. I like Persist. It's a Hoarding Broodlord focus type card. Um, Lots of spicy stuff. The Bolus of Citadel, Vexing Bauble, no Sensei's top, but they are on the Necro, and no Aetherflux Reservoir, but they are on the Pontiff of Blight. Some scam effects. Oh, we got a Surarak the Archlich. Okay, there's our Pontiff payoff. I'm not I'm not sure if he was on this for the tournament or not. In Relic of Legends, that combo's been kind of catching on a little bit. I'm glad because it's a pretty cool combo. I'll link my video that I discussed that combo if you wanna see how that works. Congratulations, Absolute, on your 13th place finish. Here we got Paul Wall. Paul finished 14th out of 100 at the beatdown last month. Um, this is the king of Agatha's Soul Cauldron right here. If you're looking to play a Krrik deck, an Agatha's Soul Cauldron specifically Krrik deck, this is where I would start. Um, yeah, he's the man when it comes to Agatha's Soul Cauldron. I defer basically all opinions on that to him because he's the one who's tested the absolute crap out of it. And we see he's not on Hoarding Broodlord. I love that. That's because, guess what? Hoarding Broodlord does not have an activated ability. So no Broodlord, no Peer. Unmarked Grave makes sense because he's not on Hoarding Broodlord. And Unmarked Grave is kind of just put Hoarding Broodlord into the graveyard to reanimate. So not super shocked to see that out of the list once you get over the initial shock of Hoarding Broodlord not being in there. Here we see Sudden Death again. Sick card. We got the man lands. I see one, two, three, four, all the man lands. We got some fetches. We got Tezzeret again. Algae Acolyte. We got Doctor Doom, notably quite a good card for Agatha Soul Cauldron. Some good number of removal spells here. Lots of removal spells. The Pestilence, Dismember, Cut Down, Bioblight, Grasp of Darkness, basically all the kill spells you could ever want. Oh, we're on Goryo's. Probably for Doctor Doom, I would imagine. Goryo's gives haste. We got Supper for Spiders. I don't know what this card does. 2 mana instant. Put onto the battlefield under your control all creature cards in your opponent's graveyards that were put there from the battlefield this turn. They are food artifacts. That's hilarious. Seems like a pretty good combo with Pestilence. Waste Not, I'm not so sure about. Maybe this is a card that is meant to interact with Necro, like your opponent's Necro. I'm not so sure about the tech behind this one, but some spicy stuff in here. Supper for Spiders. I wonder how this has been playing for them. Okay, so congratulations, 14th out of 100. That's pretty hot. Now we got, what was the rat tail one? I felt like I saw that. Krrik Astley. So we know it's not you, it's not you. Oh, this one. Chance. Got 16th place out of 80. Professor Onyx right off the bat. That's hot. Let's consult the Unified Primer. We are off Beseech the Queen, Unmarked Grave. Interesting choices. Now let's see what we're on. Strip Mine, Blood Chief Ascension with the Master of Lake Town combo. I love that. We are on Professor Onyx Chain of Smog combo. So we got a bunch of A plus Bs. We got Bolus, Top. I don't see Aetherflux Reservoir. No Reservoir. No Pontiff. Not sure if that's just a value type combo. It must be. Maybe I'm missing something. Oh, we're also on Agatha Soul Cauldron. Modoc is cool. That's a new card. With pay 3 life, draw discard. With the static -1/-1 on it is pretty good. I've seen that put in some work. We got Word of Command. This is a spicy card. One, two, D grid. You don't see that every day. Three, four, five kill spells. I don't see Dismember though. Did I pass over Dismember? I feel like Dismember's a really good kill spell that I would not leave home without. But yeah, some spicy stuff here. Congratulations on your 16th place finish. Now we are on to Joseph Beckman, got 16th out of 58. Professor Onyx again. Very interesting. Whoa. I wonder. Okay, so we're missing Violent Tumor's a little surprising. Razaketh is a little surprising, but we're not on the Flesh Writher line at all, so I guess that makes more sense. This one kind of makes me feel like maybe we're playing in a tournament that has a budget or is not proxy friendly, because they would make sense why you're not paying all the $300 to $900 cards. Let's see what they're on instead. Kill spell, strip mine again. Micaeus is pretty good tech. This one, it gives your creatures, your non-humans, undying. So when it dies, if it didn't have a 1/1 counter on it, return it to the battlefield with a 1/1 counter. That's pretty cool. Ashnod's sack outlet. It looks like they're doing some sort of sacky thing here. Alter Dementia. Oppo, Visceraseer, another sack outlet. Adnaz. I'm intrigued. We might actually have to look at this list fully. I might have to go actually back and look at this list. Let's see if there's anything spicy that sticks out. Reliquary, Ballista makes sense for the Adnaz style deck. There's the Dismember. Ancient Cellar Spawn. Each spell you cast is a demon, horror, or nightmare and costs one less to cast. Whenever you cast a spell, if the amount of mana spent to cast it was less than its mana value, target opponent loses life equal to the difference. Huh. So it's a reducer. You're missing out on the best horror, though. It's interesting. We got Flesh Writher right here that's like, hey, I go good with this card. Rollick, Thespian Stage, so they must be copying some sort of land stuff. I'm not sure what the idea behind that one is. Bolus of Citadel, Sidisi, Top, Lishrak, Sigil. Lishrax is a combo piece with Aetherflux Reservoir, where just this, with a whole bunch of life, and Aetherflux Reservoir will eventually win you the game. But I'll just go through it since this is an older combo. Some of my newer people might not know it. So you pay 4 life, you cast Lishrax. Then you can pay 4 more life to return Lishrax to hand. Well, every time you cast a spell, you gain 1 plus the amount of spells cast this turn. So once you get to I think the fourth, without doing the math, I'm just going to say the fourth time you cast Lishrax, I would imagine you're going life positive. So if you have enough life to cast it a bunch of times and enough mana to cast this 4-drop, then you get to just cook them with Lishrax Sigil. It is basically another Sensei's Bolus, but it's 1 card and requires more life. Let's actually pull this one up though. So we're on Adnaz, and we have most of the big creatures in here. Let's look at their average mana value. 1.5. That's it's interesting. I have messed around with the idea of putting Adnaz in the deck. I think I made more significant changes than they have made to their list, though. But cool list. Congratulations on your top 16 finish. All right, here we are. We got Angze, 6th place out of 105 people. I'm sure that this is not the exact list that they played with because Angze, like me, likes to mess with their list. So we are 1 for 1 with the unified, just a couple land choice differences. One thing about Ankh, they like the MDFCs. They are also on Agatha Soul Cauldron. I would have to say if Paul Wall's the number 1 ASC lover, then Unk Zay is probably the number 2 Agatha Soul Cauldron lover. This is interesting. I don't know what this does. I guess it protects Krrik. Thrashing Wampus, kind of like a Pestilence, but it could be Agatha's Soul Cauldron. The cool thing about this is if you have it in your graveyard and you Agatha's it, then if Krrik is the one activating the ability, then you're actually gaining life link off of all this damage, which can be cool. Braids is cool, so we got Draw Engine, another board wipe. We're on Oppo, Sibsig Ceremony, love it. Discard Outlet, Burning Rune Demon. That has a really cool art. Um, I'll read this since most people probably don't know what this does. It's a 6/6 demon for 6 with flying. When Burning Rune Demon enters the battlefield, you may search your library for 2 cards not named Burning Rune Demon. If you that have different names. If you do, reveal those cards. An opponent chooses one of them. Put the chosen card into your hand and the other into your graveyard, then shuffle. So I've seen people describe it as a demonic tutor plus an entomb. I don't personally value it that high because that's actually what final parting does for less mana and your opponents don't get a choice. But I'm always down for testing cool stuff. So he's been testing this. I'm not sure how he feels about it. Maybe we'll do an update in the future about some of these spicy cards we're seeing here. We got Academ's Awakening. I do find this to be a very good card that has been on my considering. I think about every so often. This is black, black, black X sorcery with a bolt land on the back. Return from your graveyard to the battlefield any number of target creature cards that each have a different converted mana cost X or less. Um, I don't know what he feels like his number is that turns this from being a great card to a not so great card. But I would imagine if you pay 4 into X, you probably win here. Like if you're set up enough to want this. Satiable Avarice, good card. Sidisi, Bazaar. I think Bazaar and Agatha's just are a match made in heaven. Being able to uninteractably put stuff in the graveyard for Agatha's to eat is pretty damn good. So congratulations, Unk, on your top on your 6th place finish in a 100+ tournament. Now we are on to Dweebs. Sleeves and Dweebs is their social media for anybody who doesn't know. They placed 4th in this almost 100-player tournament. That's awesome. That this is actually one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video because I felt like they deserve some recognition for top fouring in a huge tournament. And then when I pulled up the list, I saw there's a whole bunch of people who top 16. So I wanted to make sure I took a minute to talk about everybody and tell everybody a good job. And I'm proud of you. I know the Discord's proud of you. I know it probably doesn't mean anything or matter because you don't know me, but I'm going to say it anyway. So here we are. Here's their list. I do know that they play an interesting list. So let's do the normal compare. They're way off from the unified, which is okay because if you look at their choices that they have excluded, the only one that really stands out to me as being weird is Talon Gates. Well, I guess two, Talon Gates and Mox Amber, but they're actually on a really low land count, which we will look at, so it makes sense why they're not on Talon Gates or Lake of the Dead. Arcane Signet, you can take it or leave it. Dance of the Dead is one of the lesser of the good reanimation spells. I think Mox Amber's an auto include, but to each their own. In here we got LG Acolyte, Doctor Doom again. Are they on Agatha's? I do not see Agatha's in here, so I find that's interesting. It's my understanding that they actually won their top 16 game with Lively Dirge, that they had the Necrotic Ooze combo in Graveyard and used Lively Dirge both modes to put in and return from to return Necrotic Ooze for them to be able to win. They're on Baron, which is a new card. Valgavoth is very interesting. I don't even know what this card does. Okay, we got a 9/9 for 9 Flying lifelink Elder Demon with a really good ward. If a card you didn't control would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it. And during your turn, you may play cards exiled with Valgavoth. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value. That's hot. That's really spicy. I wonder if they actually played that in the tournament. Interesting. Oops, where were we? Yeah, that's hot. That's some spicy tech right there. We got the regular tutors. We're on Pestilence. Funeral Charm, very cool card. This is another card that has been on my radar for a long time. I go back and forth between this and Bitter Triumph. Basically, I feel like most of the time that this is just an instant speed discard a card is the most relevant text. I'm sure that there are times where you're killing an Orcish Bowmaster or whatever other creature with the -1. Maybe even Swamp Walk occasionally gets useful. We do have the Goryo's Vengeance, which I'm sure is probably like a Doctor Doom, probably Doctor Doom tech. Another discard outlet, Cynical Owner. I like this card a lot. If it's tapped at the beginning of your second main phase, you put a card from your library into your graveyard. Kill spell. Emeritus of Woe. This is a creature that is a demonic tutor, basically. It basically yeah, it has a sorcery built onto it that's a demonic tutor. We're on both keys with the One Ring. Gwenum. It's hot. Wait, are we on Gwenum and Bolus? Are we on Gwenum and Bolus? We are not on Bolus. Okay, we're on Gwenum. So Goryo's is actually a good Gwenum card as well. You just attack with haste and pray, which your hit rate is pretty good. Like I said, we'll go over how low their land count is. They are on a very low land count. We got Gix. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, its controller may pay 1 life. If they do, draw a card. And it's a 3/3 for 3. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents. Interesting. So it's like kind of like a bad Timna, a really bad Timna. But a really bad Timna is still better than a lot of the stuff that we can do. Grave Researcher. This is kind of like Emeritus, but this one has a reanimate sorcery attached to it. Twilight Diviner has an ETB Surveil 2. Whenever one or more other creatures you control enter, if they entered or were cast from a graveyard, create a token that's a copy of one of them. And then we're on Sidisi as well. So as mentioned, let's look at this land count. 24 lands. Bare bones land count. We are on all of the taps for 2 lands. Peat Bog, Ebon Stronghold, Crystal Vein, Ancient Tomb, City of Traders. Um, yeah, I mean when you're Gwenaming or drawing massive amounts of cards, whether it's with Elegy Acolyte or Gix or Gwenum. It just hitting gas and knowing you're going to hit gas is really important. I don't see where's Stargaze. They must have taken Stargaze out. That's interesting. Oh, they made a bunch of changes. Stargaze removed 5 days ago. Interesting. So, and it looks like they were on Agatha Soul Cauldron as well. So they made a few little changes uh, since the tournament. But yeah, I think Stargaze is pretty good. I was excited to talk about that card because I actually was inspired by them to try it out. I haven't gotten to cast it yet, but it seems like a pretty good card. So, last but not least, most certainly not least, man, congratulations on your top 4 finish um, at this 100 or basically 100-player tournament. That's awesome. All right, so I recorded this whole video only for Jess Cantrell to top 4 the second biggest tournament ever, I think. So before I figured it was worth going back and adding on to this in post. So here we are, Jess Cantrell, 4th out of 429. We got to watch him play his top 16 and top 4 games, so be sure to check those out. I will link them in the description below. For now, Congratulations, Jess. Let's take a look at the list. Let's start with comparing it to the unified list. We see he's just a couple cards different, couple reanimation spells. Shallow Grave, he's got a lot of creatures, so he's also playing a bit more for the long game. So Shallow Grave doesn't make as much sense in a deck like that. Opponent can just kill a creature on the battlefield and then mess up his Shallow Grave. And then Chainer Dimension Master, Control prefers looping Corpse Dance. I believe his other line is like Saw and Half Necrotic Ooze and Balthor twice to get enough devotion for him to win his game. So he doesn't need Chainer, but we still see it's pretty close. Okay, let's take a second to look over some of the cards that Jess is choosing to include in his list. Here we have Tezzeret, Cruel Captain. We've talked about that one a bit. It can be like a key, an untapper, or it can tutor you a card. Um, Decent ramp spell. Good turn one play for sure. Um, we got all the man lands. Razaketh fodder. Oh, we're on Springleaf Drum. That's interesting to see. Pestilence. These two cards right here, I will come back to these. We see Jess plays the fetches, all the fetches, bunch of removal spells, a bunch of mana rocks, Vexing Bauble, Hot Include, Insatiable Avarice. The more I see this, the more I look at this card, the more I feel like I should be playing it. Bizarre Baghdad. So in the top 16 game, we got to watch Jess open with a million mana into Braids plus Baron. Um, and that was insane. And I'm not gonna well, obviously he won his top 16 game because he made top four, but Baron was a big, huge, massive, giant part of what won him that game. So yeah, Baron looked really good on there. Showed up when he was needed the most. Put on a really good showing in the Super Bowl. Basically, we got a Super Bowl MVP, Baron Helmet Zero here. This deck is sick. 34 lands. Um, I mean, yeah, not much to say about it. Cantrell is basically the best Krrik player that I know of. Definitely as long as I've been playing. He also top 16 Steel City last year, which was the biggest cEDH tournament ever. And there was a bit of controversy there. He potentially could have made top four last year as well. So congratulations, Jess. It was really awesome to watch those games. I think maybe I will try to do like a breakdown of those games in a future video, hopefully in the near future. Um, but yeah, here you go. The link will be in the description below. Make sure to check this deck out and give it some love. Thank you guys for watching. I'm really excited to be able to talk about some other people's decks. It's always nice to go back and refer to the Unified Primer as well, and see how close these tournament topping lists are. And mostly they're pretty close, right? Like you don't have to play every single card in here, but these are mostly going to be approximately the best cards that you could be playing. So, all right, shout out to everybody that we talked about in the video. Um, if you like this type of content, be sure to leave me a comment. Let me know. If you know any of the synergies that I missed, be sure to drop a comment and let me know. Other than that, thank you so much. We are almost at 1,000 subscribers. I honestly cannot believe it. I'm not sure what we're going to do for 1,000 subscribers, but I will try to figure something out. So, thank you for watching. I will talk to you again soon.